This app was founded by a couple who ran their entire dining life through a giant color-coded Google map with notes and rankings, and then decided that would be the product foundation. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Hi, I'm Felicia, and this is episode 1 of Consumer Case Study, where I'll be doing a deep dive on consumer apps and why they work. I'll be breaking each app down into 6 parts: the problem worth solving, the core mechanic, traction, the business model, what's broken, and what's next. Today we'll be doing a deep dive on Beli, so let's begin. So before Beli became a restaurant app, it started with a very familiar frustration. People who care deeply about food had no good system for remembering, organizing, and sharing the places that they loved. If you were a serious diner, your best recommendations were probably scattered across your Notes app, Google Maps, group chats. Our founders, Judy and Elliot Frost, were huge foodies and constantly hunting for great restaurants, but they found that existing options like Yelp and Google felt generic and unreliable. Star ratings can be inflated, and public reviews often don't reflect people's personal taste. So the real problem Judy and Elliot set out to solve wasn't necessarily how do we review restaurants, but more so how do we make restaurant discovery feel personal, social, and actually useful. Beli entered at the intersection of personal taste and social behavior, two things that no existing restaurant app is built around. 2 words: comparative ranking. Instead of asking users to give a restaurant a standalone star rating, it asks them to compare a new place against restaurants that are already on their list. The app will then convert those comparisons to a score out of 10. And this makes sense. Comparison fits how people naturally talk about food already: better than, worse than, similar to. And this ultimately paves the way for features that clue you in about a restaurant's quality. If more people like a place, there are more pictures, more likes, its average score is higher. Beli's breakthrough wasn't a new category of restaurant review, but a different way built around comparison instead of isolated judgment. For an app that's so popular among Gen Z, with nearly 80% of users aged 18 to 35, you would expect it to have gone viral online, and that's true more recently. If you've seen Beli's Reels or Top X food spots as ranked by Beli users, those are a huge source of traction. But initially, after the app was founded in 2019, Beli's growth was driven mostly by word of mouth rather than paid acquisition. Judy and Elliot targeted college students in places like NYU and Brown, mostly as beta testers and interns, which definitely helped seed the product in environments where people already share recommendations with friends. And another distribution tactic is that it has an invite gate that forces you to invite 4 other friends during onboarding. And it also blocks certain features until you invite even more friends. But more than that, Beli creates repeat use because it is tied to an ongoing habit. People keep eating, keep discovering new places, and keep updating their rankings. Each new log improves the product for people, and this gives them a reason to actually return to the app. I think the social aspect definitely matters as well, because users can use the app to see what their friends are up to use it as part of their identity, and even in dating context. I swear, if I hear one more person talking about finding the huzz on Beli. Anyways, I digress. The same mechanic that makes it fun to share has also kept users coming back. Okay, if you're an employee and you see this, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the honest answer is that Beli doesn't really have a centralized business model yet. In terms of investment, they've raised around $12 million, which isn't a lot for a consumer social app with over 30 million users and 100 million ratings. Currently, they do have partnerships with OpenTable and Grubhub so that users can book reservations and order straight from the app, and it's standard to take a cut for this kind of integration. They also have Beli Separate Club, which is a subscription service for premium experiential dining access, but I would say it's definitely limited by region. I did recently find their creator subscription layer though. There are some top users who offer subscriber-only paid lists with their favorites in each city, cuisine, the like. Essentially a Substack model within Beli. And while I don't think it's necessarily mainstream yet, this can definitely incentivize food influencers to migrate their audiences onto the platform. Judy and Elliot have explicitly opposed in-feed advertising. I'm definitely loving that for users, but it rules out the easiest path to revenue. Balancing monetization without diluting the user experience is a pretty delicate problem, and without solving it, exiting the company would be difficult, leaving investors with massive question marks around acquisition potential or IPO. I think the very thing that makes Beli's data valuable, which is authentic, unpaid reviews, is exactly what aggressive monetization could destroy. Number 1, the core mechanic breaks at scale. I think comparative ranking is pretty clever early on, but it does get tedious the more you rank, especially when the algorithm forces you to compare two wildly different things. For example, a Michelin-starred restaurant versus a food truck. And I think this flattens experiences that the app explicitly promises to personalize. And the more restaurants you add, the worse this gets. 2, it's a dense city app pretending it isn't. The app's social layer, which is friend ratings, the leaderboards, the feed, they only work when your friends are also on the app, and this requires geographic density. Outside of your typical major cities like San Francisco, New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, and some college towns, a lot of users are logging restaurants into a social vacuum. 3, gamification is creating the wrong behavior. The app has definitely received criticism for focus on preserving user streaks rather than genuine food interests, and for generating unwarranted hype around elite restaurants. Is this not hashtag performative? Streaks and leaderboards are pushing people to log quantity over quality. And if this underlying data degrades, unfortunately the recommendation engine also degrades and the whole product thesis falls apart. If I were a PM at Beli, these are 3 specific product bets that I would make. 1 is a product fix, 1 is a feature bet, and 1 is a business model. The first one is context-aware ranking. Beli differentiates already between restaurants, bars, bakeries, coffee and tea, ice cream and dessert, but I think it would be cool to rank between more specific categories. So think casual spots, brunch, etc., rather than forcing everything into one global list within the subcategories. This would just mean a little bit more specific of a grouping, and I think there's already some data for this in the tags that users apply. The second thing is a traveling mode. So Beli's data covers more than 30,000 cities globally, and when you land somewhere new, I think the app should surface not just top-rated spots, but specifically what people with your taste profile loved there. I think this is a differentiated value prop that Yelp and Google Maps can't replicate, and it serves a use case where restaurant discovery friction is highest, aka traveling. And number 3 is a B2B data play. B2B is often the highest income stream for any company, and it could be really cool to do a Beli Insights suite. This would essentially function as a CRM analytics platform for restaurants. So think dish level feedback, like these noodles were ordered 20% less this month and people commonly said they were too salty. Plus macro trends like Korean food is up 30% in London. I think this would be a similar concept to Letterboxd, since filmmakers and industry insiders have come to value Letterboxd's user data, and I think restaurants could also value Beli's user data similarly. Beli didn't necessarily invent restaurant ranking, but it did turn a messy private habit into a social product that people actually want to use. As a power user myself, I can't wait to see what's in store for the app. And that's all for today on Consumer Case Study. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this episode, any apps that you'd love to see featured on this series, and I'll see you guys in episode 2.